to ensure that the approved funds are released to the athletes as soon as possible. Michael, what do you make of this gesture from the sport ministry?
It's a good one, no doubt, for me. I think money, you can't take away the influence of money in terms of sport. And we need, talking about the Nigerian contingent for this year's Paralympic Games, they actually need this money to also help them perfect their plans as well ahead of the Paralympic Games, which for me, I think is key. It looks as though the federal government is beginning to realize the importance of sport, and that is why they are investing so much money in it to ensure that at least the Nigerian contingent give a good account of themselves in this year's Paralympic game. I think that is the way to go. But then another question that will come to your mind is that after the approval of this money, will it actually get to the point, to the target point, talking about the money heading straight to the respective places where it ought to go, so that it will not be at the end of the whole thing, the money ends up in the pockets of few individuals, thereby punctuating the effort or the purpose to which the money is meant for. And that is the only area I'm pretty much concerned. But away from that, I think it's a very good gesture from the federal government, trying to also see that the Nigerian contingent for this year's Paralympic game does not lack that financial support as well, because this will also help us to prepare very well and also help the athletes to give a good account of themselves.
Impressive one. Let's see how it goes, of course, for Team Nigeria in the coming Olympic game. But so far, what do you make of John Wanino? He's been everywhere, making sure that the team gets proper preparation ahead of the Olympic game. What do you make of his administrative prowess?
I think for me, I would say yes. He's one man that at least before coming into the office, not too many people rather expected him to be doing so well, because looking at his background before becoming the sport minister, I think there's little or nothing to show in terms of sport administration. But then I think he has proven so many people wrong out there. Taking a look at his body movement, body language, his pragmatic step towards ensuring that there is a one there that needed support to ensure that he succeed in his time in office, thereby taking Nigerian sports to the next level, where we say yes, during the tenure of so person, or during the time of so person in charge as a sport minister, this innovation was done, this progress was made, this achievement was actually recorded, and it will also be to his own further, it will also go to the annals of history that during his regime as the sport minister, a whole lot of innovation came in, a whole lot of changes, a whole lot of positive results came in, a whole lot of improvement in terms of sport generally. So for me, a good one for me. To add that to what the federal government has also done that as well, I think it's a nice one. But then for the House of Representatives, I think this move is directed toward also paying a very good honor to one of their members, talking about the one that lost his life a few days ago, Honorable Gani Adams, who is the chairman sport committee in the House of Representatives, because he was a young man that truly have the passion for sport development in the country. He was so vocal to the extent that he was, at some point, speaking very hard against some of the, debilitating and attenuating situation at the Olympic Games, to give their best, knowing fully well that we go out there, win a gold medal, silver, bronze, or you go out there and break a record, set a record, definitely you are going to be rewarded, and the money for your reward will not delay, because the money has been approved. So for me, I think it's a nice one. Let's continue to move in this line of trying to encourage sport development in the country. I think it's going to be for our own favor, because sports, like I will keep saying, is one of the highest employer of labor across the globe, not just here in the country. You want to take a look at the sportmen that took part, whether weightlifting, wrestling, taekwondo, boxing, footballing, just name it. Aggregate the number of people that indulge in sport activity, that have taken sport as a...
For the athletes that will be, of course, clinching any of these, medals, What do you make of the prize money attached to the medals?
It's a good one. I think I'm very happy and very comfortable about that. $5,000, you need to punch your calculator right now and convert that money. And I believe you are already punching the calculator in NS. Just punch it and discover how much it is in the Nigerian currency. If you had to convert $5,000 into Nigerian naira, it's a huge amount of money for me, and it's a motivating factor for the athlete. And I believe they are going to maximize this opportunity by winning gold medals, silver and
Against Germany, a national female basketball team on Friday, July 19, which is today. The D Tigers have been preparing hard ahead of the female basketball events of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, with a full complement of the invited players under the watch of highly regarded coach Rena Wakama. A report from the training camp revealed that the girls are in high spirits and are ready for the encounter against the German female team. The Tigers, who are the winning Afro basket champions, will test Serbia in another game in Belgrade on July 21st, and Japan in Lille, France, on July 24th as well. As part of the series of preparatory matches lined up by the Nigerian Basketball Federation to keep the team in shape ahead of the Paris Olympic Games. So these are some of the friendly games lined up for the Tigers of Nigeria in preparation ahead of the Paris Olympic Games. Michael, what do you make of it? The Tigers, we've seen them put up some impressive performance, especially in the last Afro-Basket Women Basketball Championship. Do you think they have what it takes? Can Rena Wakama prove herself, once again with these guys at the Olympic Games?
Yeah, for me, no doubt Rena Wakama has what it takes to at least make a point out there. Though we find ourselves in a very difficult group, but then who says that we cannot make it count? After the last fire brigade approach in the last Afro Basketball Championship we attended, barely few weeks, many of the players have yet to hit the camps. But then Rena Wakama was able to bring in her, Midas touch into it and help us, to win the last Afro Basketball Championship. Now, preparation are in gears. Most of the players invited, all are in camp. The camp is bubbling, and there is this perfect understanding between Rena Wakama and the guests. And then again, coupled with the fact that we'll be playing some more like a dress rehearsal games before the official game against the likes of France, against the likes of Germany, Serbia. These are grade B friendlies, you may want to say, before we kickstart our, Paris Olympic game officially. So for me, I think Rena Wakama and the girls, they have what it takes out there to go there and make a point for themselves. In Africa, we've conquered. We should take it beyond Africa to the continent of the world and tell the world, come on, we are here. We are giants of Africa. We are the Tigress. We are here to prove a point. And I think for me, do we have what it takes? Of course, yes, the likes of Ami Okonkwo and some of the big name players that we have. And you take a look at, the players invited in camp, carefully perusing through their season performances in their different club side. You want to say, yes, these are players that have been playing regularly for their club side. So for me, I think we have what it takes to at least come out of that group alive and go beyond our last, performance.
All for the best for the D Tigers as well. We hope they're able to get down there and make Nigerians, proud. But away from the Olympic Games, Rafael Nadal preparation for the Olympics continue with an impressive straight set win over Britain's Cameron Norrie in the second round of the Swedish Open. Nadal, who is 38 years, overcame the fifth seed in overcame the sixth seed in Bastard 6-4, 6-4 to set up a quarterfinal with Argentina Amarano Nova. And we've got to report that Rafael Nadal actually defeated the Argentine to get to the semi-final this afternoon. Michael, what do you make of Rafael Nadal? The Swiss Cup, of course, has been an impressive ride for him. We've seen him get this is his third win so far in this competition. It's the semi-final of the competition.
For me, I think no surprise for Rafael Nadal. He's a Frenchman. He wants to make a point at the Paris Olympic game. And for me, you have to also take into cognizance the fact that because he has been preparing for this year's Paris Olympic game, that is one of the major reasons why he wasn't part and parcel of this year's Wimbledon. Don't forget that, because he was preparing for this Paris Olympic game. And of course, he may say that age is no longer on his side. He wants to retire on a very high note. How best to do that and where best to do that, I think, is the Paris Olympic game. The Olympic game is the biggest platform of sporting hostilities across the globe. Every sportman and woman, you want to make it to the Olympic game because this is the apex, this is the climax of sporting activities across the globe, and he wants to live on a very high note. Some of the big name players, even the likes of Novak Djokovic as well, will also be trying to see if he can be able to make it to the Paris Olympic game. Rafael Nadal, he wants to retire, but he wants to do that in a very high note because, like they say, he leave the stage when ovation is very high, and it is the honor of every sportsman to win a major silverware in the Olympic Games, and I think this is what Rafael Nadal is trying to do. After taking a break from the Wimbledon, he has been taking part in this very one to keep himself in shape ahead of the Olympic game, which for me, I think it is the apex of any sport activity. Like I've said earlier, most of the big names, not just in tennis as well, but in other different sporting categories, some of the big names. Remember the likes of even the Brazilian Mata is going to be one of the overage players is going to this Paris Olympic game. Why? Because she wants to lay her hand in a Olympic medal before she finally drops the curtain out there. So for me, I think it's necessary for Rafael Nadal to continue to prepare very high because I tell you, so many obstacles, so many challenges come with the Paris Olympic game that if you are not at the best of your game, then you will be defeated at even the preliminary stage. And I know that you wouldn't want to be hosted out at the preliminary stage because you want to live on a very high note. So I think it's a big push for him. Let's see if he can be able to also continue to take this fine form we've seen of him down to the Olympic.
Impressive display, of course, you will see from Rafael Nadal getting to the semi-final of the Swiss Open. You see, unlike the man we've seen, ban by UK anti-doping after he failed a drug test conducted by the organization following his heavyweight fight with Britain Anthony Joshua in August 2023. Freelance Helena, who is 40 years, tested positive for the female fertility drug clomiphene in a sample provided to the UK anti-doping agency. And from what was seen, the man actually denied no. It's saying that what he took, actually contained egg and chicken. That probably it might be the reason why his testosterone, of course, had a boost before that particular one. But the anti-doping agency are saying that the man has actually taken a prohibited substance, that in as much as that has been found in the system, no matter what it is guilty of the rules of the game.
He's guilty until proven otherwise, and you need to fight so hard to be able to convince or prove otherwise that indeed he did not deliberately do that, that it was actually the egg or chicken that he ate. And I think he has been eating too much of chicken and egg, and that is why he was unable to at least be more professional into taking cognizance of the fact that as a professional, you don't just chew anything that comes your way. You need to be very intentional. You need to be very deliberate about the thing that you take into your system as a professional out there. So for me, I think as it stands right now, it's a big problem. It's a big issue for him because before he will be coming back after this after serving this ban, it's about 2 years or thereabout.
Coming back 2025.
2025. So for me, I think will he want to wait until 2025 is a big issue. But then I think it should be done on every professional out there that he must stick with the rules that governs the game. If they say, okay, if you take so thing, you are going contrary to the rules or extant law that establish the game, why not be very cautious so that you keep away from some of those things so that you don't land yourself into trouble. For Robert Helenius, despite the banned substance find his system, you know, before his match against Anthony Joshua, yet he still lost the match against Anthony Joshua. In other words, even if you had to take an enhanced substance, it doesn't really matter sometimes, because if it do matters at all of the time, maybe by now, you know, it should be on the record that Robert Helenius actually defeated Anthony Joshua. But contrary the case, Anthony Joshua actually floored him. But then, I think it's a big issue in the world of sport. You are competing as a professional, you need to do that on a clean. There's still a dent in the sport of Diego Armando Maradona. In fact, at some point, in England, Britain actually barred him from flying into Britain because of the hand of God goal that he scored. You know, so at some point it was discovered that he tested positive to some bands of, and that is why most time people don't even rate him as high as he was supposed to be rated. Why? Because of his connection with some of these banned substances. So for me, I think for sportsmen and women, there are certain rules that governs the game. Why not do yourself a favor? Stick to those rules, because knowing fully well that everything that you take in need to be exactly at all points, you know, examine. You need to be cautious of this. Sometimes they take some supplements. There are some things, fruit.
Kasali, I hope my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Okay, you don't ready. I just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now in the cause more delay.
Which instruction?
Maybe now you say make I change the meter, make you no read again.
Which time I make you change meter? Oh, Kasali, why you do like this now? Eh? You don't get sense. You don't read the text message. Nobody I want send them to. Like Kasali, my electrician, make it come house, call me do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You the electrician?
The electrician?
Yes, now.
So you call Kasali electrician, make it come help you adjust your meter, make it for no read again, Abi. So you said you want jump people where be say they no want they pay NEPA bill again, Abi. Oga, you know good now. You don't use you know they behave like tea, all these stiff people.
Oh, what you change for your motor? What you change for?
Two lights. Fuel gauge. Speedometer.
For what you know, you for come out for home my motor. I better identify for me.
Okay. Now don't do something we corrupt. Do something come backfire. Now go come they find how to dodge them.
What you talk?
They greet you.
This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadehi Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
What you want to buy?
Potato. Small basket. I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy them. Make her show you something. What? What in this one? Madam, this one now the chemical where they put on for the plantain make her ripe up.
So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop?
No water, no be chemical. Madam,
water. You know say Pela I don't talk and say water and not be enemy. Drink am.
Where you collect that water, drink am.
I just stop finish. See my belly. After it don't big. I just stop drink water finish.
We can drink am now. And they sell am plantain, I go come put am for chemical because I want to make a ripe go. That's why I talk now corruption. Corruption. Not be for this kaswa, come not be for this country. Now me talk am.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadehi Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Backstage Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. It's time for me to bring you the latest from the beautiful world of football, and we'll start from the Nigerian scene as Nigeria dropped to 39th in the FIFA ranking. Spain, England move up in the ranking. And talking about Super Eagles, dropping in the FIFA ranking. This actually came up this week, this month, that's July. In the ranking table by the World Football Governing Body, the Nigerian team still maintain 1,498.93 points it had in June. Nigeria suffered a massive drop in the June ranking from 30th to 38th after lackluster performance in the World Cup qualifying matches. The drop on the global stage in July, however, did not affect the team's position on the continental stage as they are fifth behind Morocco, Senegal, Egypt, and Cote d'Ivoire. On the global scene, 3 continental competitions and a plethora of international friendlies have been served up in June and July, with no fewer than 125 matches having been contested across the globe. Having successfully defended their CONMEBOL Copa American crown, Argentina are now the 4th team in the world, tightening up their grip at the top of the pie. France are 2nd, and as it stands, that's how, of course, it is at the moment. So Argentina 4th, France 2nd at this point. Spain are now 3rd when it has to do with the global ranking. So, Michael, what do you make of it? What do you make of it? First of all, let's start with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. When they finished the African Cup, when they finished the African competition that was in Cote d'Ivoire, the Super Eagles were ranked, I think, 30 or 31, in the FIFA ranking. But now they are currently ranked 39, from 30 to 31 to 39. What do you make of the poor performance so far from the team?
It's a big worry. It's a big worry. You and I are Nigerians, and I believe you're a Super Eagles supporter. If not, if you are not supporting Super Eagles, you should be sent out of this country to any other place. But then that was on a light note. I think, seriously speaking, Kingsley, it's a thing of worry. After the African Cup of Nations, when we finished 2nd behind the eventual winner, the host country, Ivory Coast, it was a massive leap for Super Eagles. We were seated 30th in the world ranking. But after then, we are seated 39th as it stands right now. It clearly tells of a massive decline, for the performances of the Super Eagles. And you take a look at the last few months, the games that we've played. Did we actually do well? This drop in ranking, is it a surprise? Of course, it's not a surprise. Under Finidi George, in the last 2 months, we played 2 games, 2 friendly and 2 World Cup qualifiers. Of course, no cut across the clubs in the biggest club in the world. But yet, when they come to the national team, they don't give their best the same way they give their all for their club side. Then again, you also talk about the attribute of the coaches. There have been a place to galvanize these stars that we have. I mean, so for me, I think it's a big challenge. We are seated 39th, and we are at the verge of not qualifying for the next World Cup, which is a big worry. We are still battling, struggling to play against smaller teams, in quotes. Teams like Rwanda giving Nigeria a headache. Some have dropped drastically, which is very sad. And you take a look at their form in the last 3 months, nothing to write home about. Came to the Euro, this year's Euro, didn't do pretty well, so they have dropped drastically. But the biggest gainer, like I said, is Colombia. Spain as well, also in the mix. And it's very simple. They go to the final of the Euro, not just going to the final, but they also won it. And Argentina, do they deserve to retain their to be in the #1 spot? Of course, yes. They are the World Cup winner. They are still holding the World Cup. Then again, winning the Copa America is another big advantage. So I think for me, there are no discrepancies in the ranking. Teams were ranked according to their performances.
All right, I'll see how things will go down for the Super Eagles of Nigeria going forward. But we have to stay away from that and announce the signing of Lenny Yoro in a £52 million deal from Leo. Joshua Zexi has already joined the club from Bologna. Michael, are you impressed with the summer signings of Manchester United?
For me, I think I'm not impressed. Though, so some person might be impressed, but that is my opinion. Why did I say that I'm not impressed? Signing Joshua Zexi, a 22-year-old striker who just scored about 9 goals for Bologna, is that good enough? Is that an upgrade to Rashmore Højlund? I doubt. I doubt. At 22, he is not that proven striker that you want to say yes, he's going to at least give Manchester United more like 20 goals in the season or 25 goals or beyond. I doubt. If Rashmore Højlund could not